If you're talking sports, it's the matchup. Mickey here with Zizzy, are we cutting it up? Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is, the Mickey Zizzy podcast. And Mickey with the cats. Let's go. Episode 2, season 4. We are back, baby. You know, consistency is key. We got a new motto every season. Let's talk about it. We got a lot to bring up, and you know there is a big rivalry going on here on the podcast set, if you want to call it a rivalry, but we'll get into that. Of course, here we are, the Mickey Zizzy podcast, brought to you by Pinnacle Supplementation, pinnaclesup.com. Give it a check. Check it out. Check it out. Everything that I have had to this point has been absolutely wonderful. And it's not just because we're sponsored of the product, of the brand. I promise you, I actually love it myself. And Mickey, I know he does too. Have you got the chocolate yet? Have you got
I haven't. I got to go through the cycle of the vanilla.
Okay. I did start mixing it with the bananas and a little bit different fruits and stuff. And definitely made it better, but I digress. Also, shout out G3 on YouTube, Grant Anderson, that OBL baller, the extraordinary. You know the nicknames, but I ain't got time for everything today because we got to catch up on the NBA playoffs. But first, I'm going to introduce the main man, Mickey Hines. What's going on, my guy?
It's going per usual. You referenced some things about a rivalry, which we will get deep into, and there's so much to cover. I know it is consistency is key, which it will get more consistent. We just have to get some things situated on the other end. I am recording from a new studio. Not yet. It's not going to be the studio, but it's going to be constantly twisting and turning. And Yank, this whole episode would be a whole lot different based on last night's results. Yank, Stephen A said it best. You know, I'm sad. I'm depressed right now, but I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I have this much faith left last night. And then it grew. And then it grew. So you know what, Mr. Yankovic? I'm gonna say it. C's in 7. Let's go Celtics. Humbly, I'm that dude. I'm one of the best players. Jason Tatum, take him to a game 7 and see what happens. Scored the most points ever in a game 7. That is Jason Tatum. Let these boys go cook like Marcus Smart got the finals jersey on. Let's go. There's never been a 3-0 comeback ever in the history of the NBA. And guess what? There's always a time for first, because just like you say here on this podcast, America loves a comeback story. We're all the way back. The faith is back. The dudes are playing back in the TD Garden. Back in Miami. No, TD Garden. Let's go get it. Season 7, baby.
I'm not even going to say anything because we got to start with the person of the week. I'm just going to, we'll put the hat on too. Let's go. Person of the week. Who you got?
Also, more exciting news, why it was a little bit rocky this week and last week of recording, is shout out to Matt Mathis. I'm pretty sure he was like the person of the week like 2 episodes ago. But Yank, for the first time in 21 years, the Williamsburg Raiders are state champions. This past weekend, the Raiders did win a state title in track and field. Ring me, call me Joe Burrow. We got the hat. Super excited, but shout out him for breaking it. Yank, in those 21 years, 13 of them, they had a runner-up. So they've been close, and this is in all sports, 13 runner-ups. And they finally broke the streak is what they're calling it. Got the state title. Super excited, dude. We were all freaking out. I'm over here nervous, sitting down, hands on head. It felt like I was sitting at home watching a sporting event. We needed one team not to get second or first, and then we tie for a title. I don't care. Banners fly forever. They hang forever, and that trophy is still sitting in Williamsburg Junior Senior High School. So with all that being said, the state title comes to Williamsburg in track and field. As many say, give me that ring. Let's go.
Dude, I mean, first off, the trophy, man. I mean, it was impressive. It's impressive. That thing's solid. To be able to hoist that, to be able to be a part of that, I could only imagine. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to all the guys on the track running in the field doing the events. Absolutely amazing effort from everybody. I'm sure just awesome to see you guys go out and get it done, man. I mean, it's like year one.
I mean, Another employee said this: 100% of the teams I've coached at the school I teach at, we've won state titles. I mean, we're just talking facts right now. But no, in all reality,
I mean,
those dudes went out and performed. It was just awesome to watch and get them prepared for it. And they just went, and the lights were on, and they went and performed. I mean, when you have a guy who can get second in the shot put and then go win the high jump, that's a unicorn that's never before seen.
what?
Exactly. That's how state titles are won, I guess. So super excited for the entire team for performing. They went and did the job, and it was just so exciting to watch it all happen.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything more that we could say that would even be enough for that, honestly. So congratulations to all of you guys. Put a ring on it. I love it. For me on my side, it was honestly just it was a lot more chill and laid back and relaxed. Marissa Smith is going to be the person of the week this week because she was down visiting, had a good time for the past week. Got to hang out with the family, go out, do some. I mean, had some fun, did some golf tournaments. I mean, it's golf season. We all know about all that. So Zizzy breaks 90. That should be a new trend. I just want to say Zizzy broke 90. Zizzy broke 90. So we're gonna keep going at that. But no, to have her company the whole last week was awesome. Shout her out, see if she's listening in on the episode this time. We'll see. We'll have her on the quiz. Maybe a new future.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm planning.
Scouting out. Awesome. Shout out to her. Awesome. All weekends are good. But like I said, we do have a lot of the NBA today because we are really going to dive deep into the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals. And Yank, let's rip it off like a Band-Aid. Let's talk the biggest rivalry in podcasts. Your Miami Heat versus my Boston Celtics. 4 seasons, 3 of them we've seen this conference finals in the Eastern Conference. That's immaculate. I mean, come on. Sign us. Like, let's get it going. But
I would love to say that it has just happened because we started the podcast. Like we brought the energy and have spoken into existence. That's a big thing. That's a big thing here. Absolutely. But no, for it to actually happen, it proves once again, like I would say that the bubble is not a fluke. It also does prove in a way that our teams have just, I mean, like culture of both organizations. I mean, Boston, from obviously the start of the NBA to now, is one of the most winning, I think, tied for the most championships in NBA history, correct? So, I mean, they have that. And then for the Heat to have now been, I mean, with one coach, Eric Spoelstra has now been there for 15 seasons. If he gets one more win, it will be his 5th finals appearance. I mean, it's just astounding to think that you look at the roster, right? I mean, there's nobody that was giving the Heat a chance or anything like that. So for us to be in this position, I'm excited. But yeah, what a rivalry. However, we can talk about how these first 4 games have unfolded.
Now, before we start talking about those 4 games, one thing I want to say, I saw a statistic that said 50% chance to win, 97 for Boston Celtics, and I said that's blasphemous. I've seen this Miami Heat team beat us. I've seen us go to 7 against them, right? I'm sweating in my boots. This Miami Heat team is legit. Yes, they did lose the playing game. Yes, they are the 8th seed. This is the best darn 8th seed since we've seen in forever, right? We talked about 2 good 7 seeds, that Brooklyn Nets a year ago and then the Los Angeles Lakers this year. But like, this is the best 8th seed we've ever seen. Jimmy Buckets, playoff Jimmy is a real thing. Everyone is scared. And once again, I'm not going to talk about the 4 games. Like, he is Hemi, right? And the dudes are playing out of the mind, and it's because of Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra, after the season, regardless, let's say they lose in the Western Conference Finals, right? They blow this 3-0 lead. It still don't matter. He is a top 5, I'll say top 5 coach of all time. Like, he is the real deal. His play calling, like why he calls timeouts. We're gonna get into this whole series because I have some beef with Joe Mazzulla. All right. But like overall as a coach, they believe in him. He gets the absolute most potential out of these players. I mean, look at Gabe Vincent. Look at Strus. These guys wouldn't play anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they're balling out, getting career highs, all-time highs. Which, all that being said, and Heat culture, right? They're the most gritty, right, people, right? The Miami Hustlers is what I call them on the show because I know what they can do. They're legit the only team. I'm more scared of the Miami Heat than my Milwaukee Bucks. Not just because y'all beat them, but like just straight up one-on-one. Like, I know what Miami's going to bring, and it's going to be everything. Now, that's my, kudos to the Miami Heat. That's why I'm so afraid. Like, I call a spade on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a rivalry, but we could go back and forth on giving each other's teams props. I mean, with Boston, I had said even coming into the series, like on paper, you guys are a better roster. You guys are more talented. You guys are a fantastic team. There's a reason why you were a top two seed while we were struggling to find our rhythm until we did at the end of the season. I mean, there's nothing really to say. You guys have size. You guys can play defense. You guys lock up when you actually had the focus and mentality to do so. We see nights like the other, like last night, where you guys can shoot. I mean, it's all there. It's just a matter of putting it together. And I mean, whether or not you guys still want to blame age or anything like that, it's that regardless, your guys' team is beyond talented. And there's was definite reason for us to worry coming in to these conference finals, regardless of how well Jimmy's playing. Bam has shown up obviously in this series, but you worry about him kind of coming into it. You don't know how he's going to do against Robert Williams. I mean, it, talent across the board, man. Boston Celtics are a real deal. The Heat obviously had the culture, the coaching to have been in this position. Um, I mean, what more can you really say for both?
I mean, Miami Heat's the only team that would be okay with a dude on the bench getting a technical. Because earlier in this playoffs, Udonis Haslam got a technical. So he was talking that talk, and people like, I love that. Like as a coach, I'm like, I'll pull you back, like dumb foul by you, but like, hey, that's us. That's our culture. Like all dudes are gonna back
I
each other
mean,
up.
think about it. It's not just nowadays. I mean, obviously we have the 7 undrafted players that were on our roster now, but before that, you think back to the days even when we had before the Heatles, during the Heatles, you have the Mike Millers, you have Ray Allen stepping up and absolutely making leg. You've got Udonis Haslam back in his prime, they get the most out of it. Riley, man. I mean, I know we talk about Spoelstra, but Spoelstra is inherently an extension of Pat Riley. And when I heard the stat that Pat Riley has been a part of just under 25% of the overall finals ever, like that have ever happened, he has been there for 25% of them as a player or a coach. That is insane, or owner. I'm just saying, like, but that is absolutely insane to think about. Shout out to him. It's the culture.
It really is. Now you brought up some of the things about Boston, which I will chime in on. They are so inconsistent, and I hate because like a lot of other people are saying as well, but they are. I mean, you go out and score 50, and Jason Tatum really can do that. And sometimes his shot is off. Jaylen Brown is battling injury, so like he'll shoot really well, and then another night, like last night, he's not shooting well. Marcus Smart is one of the spotty shooters. Like with the ball in his hand is great. He can have the assist, but he is a very like he has the green light, which he should. All right. You have Malcolm Brogdon, who sometimes scores a lot, sometimes doesn't. The sixth man of the year this year. So all around, this team has its ups and downs, ups and downs. But when they are up, they are one of the best teams in the NBA. I just got to see more of the ups. You know what I'm saying? And they're one of the most defensively sound teams. I think it was the third ranked defense in the NBA coming into the playoffs. That didn't show in the first 3 games, and now we can actually digest the past 4 games that has happened, Yank. But when you have Gabe Vincent scoring a career high of 29 points, like you don't win. You don't win when those players score that much. You know what I'm saying? It's like if Marcus Smart went up and put up 30. Like it's not going to happen because the ball, how the Celtics win, is Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum scoring the basketball. But for the Heat, it's anybody. It's Jimmy's going to get his, and then who wants to be Robin? And that's the scary thing is this defense really has to lock up everybody because they all can shoot. So I know Max Strus can shoot. I know Duncan can. Actually, he really can't shoot, but
He's playing dang.
Statistically, he can shoot. You know what I'm saying? So Boston is locking on that defense because they are get that rebound. Let's go. They are a get going team. That's with a lot of those turnovers. Yank. Even last night, it was 7 turnovers in the first half. They're legit hitting the ball off their foot. It looked the glimpse of last year in the finals against the Warriors. I'm like, this cannot be happening again. And then they slowed everything down, started hitting their shots. If they shoot 40% from 3, Celtics undefeated the rest of the playoffs.
Oh, I mean, I could give you, and that's the thing. It's just like it hasn't been consistent, and people are questioning, like, is that a coaching issue? Do we talk like we can bring in the Missoula conversation at some point? I'm sure, but for me, it's also you got to look at like coming into last night. It's not necessarily all on the Celtics. It's part of what Miami Heat have been able to do. We were shooting 48% from the 3-point line. Like, regardless if you're open or not, that's an incredible clip to be shooting 3 points, 3-point shots at, especially in comparison to what we did in the regular season. We were ranked 26 in 3-point field goal percentage coming into the playoffs. So for us to flip that switch, become the best shooting team in the playoffs, it's obviously been everything. And then obviously you get the boost down the stretch from Jimmy Butler, who's just been absolutely electric. I mean, up there, I'd say with Jason Tatum, with his performances in the game sevens and the elimination games, Devin Booker, Jokic, all of them, but he's up there for conversation of the best player in the playoffs.
I mean, he is. I'm looking at some of the stats, there's key highlights, like Jimmy Butler scored 35 in game one. Like, and that was a down the stretch. Boston is so good at losing in the fourth quarter, and it's because of the coaching, and I'll talk about that after I'm done digesting each game and the highlights, right? Then they lost by 6 in game 2, right? Bam had 17 rebounds. You have Robert Williams, who's supposed to be a rebounding dude. Same with Al Horford. I mean, he's not necessarily known as the rebounder on the squad, but you can't let him go get 17. Like, any player that gets 17 boards, your team's most likely to win. And then they get blown out. That's the Gabe Vincent game. 29, and this everyone else come along with the party. I mean, that's when you're down bad, and then the back.
That man just secured so much money. Oh, I'm so happy for him.
And then backs against the wall, Jason Tatum has the big double-double, almost triple-double, 33 and 11. Like, he went and did him. Yeah. Now, let's talk about some of those games, that game 1 and 2 that was actually close. It's all on Joe Mazzulla. I'm calling Coach Mazzulla out. Yank, do you get a pocket timeout after the game? After, like, a game is over? No, you do not. So we use them. You do it in 2K. 2K actually automatically does it for you. When a team gets hot, they'll call a timeout for you when you're playing my player. All right. Mazzulla, use the timeouts, right? You're up by 5 with 3 minutes left or whatever it may be. And then they take the lead with 2 minutes left. Like, you call a timeout. Like, hey, slow everything up. Let's set up a play. Yank, there's a chance. I think it was in game 1, or it might have been the series before. They get the rebound. They're down by 1. I think it was in the Sixers series. Call a timeout. Get a cross. Wait till 10 seconds. Call a timeout. Get a great drawn play up, right? Even if it is 3 seconds, grab that rebound, pass it in, get a cross, timeout, right? 2 to 3 seconds, you can draw up a play. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best at doing it. He'll call up a play, divvy it up, and bing, bang, bong. Here we go. Now, Mazzulla, use your timeouts. That's one of the things I hate. It's like, dude, Miami just went on a 14-0 run. Why we're not calling a timeout? What's going on? You know what happened in the game last night? Celtics went on a 13-0 run. What Eric Spoelstra do? Timeout. They reduced that gap a little bit. We went on a big run. Timeout again. That thing alone, and when I just look at him coaching, it's just not a lot there. Now I'm calling him out. Mazzulla, go prove me wrong, right? Prove me wrong here on the podcast.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Just because, I mean, you guys did come back and end up as a number 2 seed. You did come back.
We have one of the best on paper rosters, though.
Yeah, I mean, last year, that's very true. That's very true. But to me, it's the end of the game. Like, it was one thing when it was the regular season, but now we're talking the end of the game, pocket timeouts, clutch situations, just letting them play in rhythm. I mean, in a way, I understand that, but this is the playoffs. You practice and practice and practice situations and things like that. I mean, we do it across other sports. Why? I'm sure they do it in basketball. See. This is where I like to bring up where you were talking about Spoelstra being, in your mind, like a top 5.
He's probably number 5.
Top three NBA coach. I would love to make the argument, or if not, had the take that he is the best coach in the NBA. I mean, as currently, you got to think about.
Yeah, they're cutting out a little bit, but yeah.
Really hard to teach great talent, because they already think that they have it all, whatever else. They're not necessarily like they do their own thing. There's moments in games where superstars like take the ball, take over. When he was coaching the big 3, obviously back in the day, there was definitely moments where he's looking at LeBron, D Wade, Chris Paul, take over, do what you got to do. He's now coached and won championships with the talent, and now the undrafted, he hasn't won the championship necessarily, but he's gone to the finals. He's still a winning coach when it comes to having this. But to me, that is so impressive to have control, to not have your voice get stale, to be able to maintain, like, it's Popovich like, but he's just had more success recently. That's where I like to put him in. I'm not saying like overall, but currently, I like to say he might be the best coach in the NBA. I mean, that's where I think this difference is in this series. Honestly, the in-game adjustments so far have been better.
I'm trying to figure out a spot where that take is not true. But in all reality, Mr. Zizzy, when was the last time Greg Popovich was relevant? 2014?
I mean, they
final?
really have nothing.
And before, Popovich is the top 3 coach of all time in the NBA. But like now, in today's NBA, this year, right? You talk about Coach Brown with the Kings, right? Not sustain like Spoelstra has. Spoelstra has taken 2 years ago, 3 years ago, took the Heat to the finals. This on paper does not look like this jaw-dropping team that's going to go win the East. Sorry, you are cutting out a little bit, so hopefully it is pairing up on like the whole broadcast for everyone else. But I have to go with you. Like, to take this roster to that spot to make sure your star players shine, right? There's been times where we've seen it where star players can't go win games. Look at Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash. Couldn't get Kyrie and KD to the championship, right? Came up game short, this, that, right? Steve Kerr has all the talent in the world. Don't get me wrong. Steve Kerr is a great coach, but he had potentially some of the best rosters of all time. Spoelstra's done it with the big 3 and now without.
I mean, he's given you an opportunity to kind of look across the board, like just see his entire coaching array, his coaching style. It hasn't necessarily changed, but it never falls on deaf ears. I love that. In comparison, though, when you bring up the Popovich stuff, he does get Victor Wembanyama, so we'll
and
relevant again.
We'll see about that. They also have to put people around Victor. Is he going to be this one guy that takes it all? I mean, we could touch up on the NBA draft a little bit about Victor, about the Spurs. Well, the draft lottery, I should say. We can talk about that in just a little bit. But it's just crazy because the Celtics lost the game because they got out coached. You looked across the court, across to it, and there is Joe Mazzulla, Eric Spoelstra, right? Give Joe Mazzulla a chance. I'm not saying fire him after this year. I'm not saying he's on the
No, I think that would be a huge mistake, and that's just a bad look, especially after how the old I think after that whole situation, I think that would just be a bad look to get rid of Mazzulla.
Exactly. You keep him, you let him write it out, go get another 2 seed for next year.
He's still like the youngest coach in the NBA, ain't he?
He is. I think one of the youngest, yeah. But end all be all, like, you just can't get out coach, but at the same time, you got to go make your shots. And Yank, season 7, let's ride. I have full faith back.
You have that much confidence that doesn't know what the series is. Miami's been putting it to them.
Never been happened before. So,
Mr. 0-150. That is a big stat.
0-150. You're right. 1-150 sounds a whole lot better. All right. Let's move on to the Western Conference Finals. Finish 2 nights ago. Get out the brooms because LeBron got swept. Now, I cannot wait to talk about this because there's some people once again that said LeBron didn't have the team, and that is blasphemous. They've been the best team since the All-Star break, since they got it. I got beef with all those people. But let's talk about the legit number 1 team in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets. They are scary, Yank. I don't care if my C's wins or your Heat win. I am scared of the Nuggets because Jokic playing out of his mind, triple-double machine. He's making Russell Westbrook's triple-doubles not look legitimate, right? You have Jamal Murray he's got his dog in him, right? You know that saying, like, got the dog in him. Jamal Murray's got it. And then the role players, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. The list just goes on for the role
Bruce
players
Brown,
on the team. KCP, like Bruce Brown, like those guys can go have spurts, and they've done it before. They are a scary, legitimate team, and this is the year for them to win the title. And it's scary because my C's and your Heat are still in it.
I mean, I can say whoever does come out of the Eastern Conference is a tough road, and they get all this rest because obviously the finals doesn't start till next Thursday, regardless. They're sitting there, they are foaming at the mouth. I mean, you never necessarily like when you're the fan of another team when the opposing team is coming out and saying like after every win, like, oh, okay, this many more wins to a championship. It's not, oh, okay, we just won the Western Conference. No, it's four more times. All right. Gotta love the mentality of the Denver Nuggets. I think Nikola Jokic is trying to prove a point because whether he says it or not, whether any of these superstars say it or not, you hear the noise, especially in this day and age. Everybody got a phone and it pops up regardless if you want it to. I just, I mean, did I expect the Lakers to get swept? No. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody could really deny that the Denver Nuggets are the better team in this situation. Now, to sit there and say, I don't know who's telling you that the Lakers didn't have a team since the All-Star break. The Lakers have had a team since the All-Star break. Now, whether or not that whole team showed up in this series, I mean, that's another give or take, but that's not, I mean, that's the game of basketball. It's a make or miss league. People got to make shots. It's it's a lot to put on a 38-year-old shoulders, in my opinion.
Here we go again. All right. First off, the Denver Nuggets outplayed them on all aspects of the basketball games, and all of them. Right, Jamal Murray had 30+ point games.
Oh, it's way more
Jokic
about the
having all
Nuggets than
that.
anything.
Like they're going off, and
Yeah.
they're getting the rebounds. They're playing smart. I mean, that last play, I heard no beef about that call, which was awesome. You know, I looked
It's
at
all
it.
ball.
I think it's Jamal Murray hit all
All
balls
ball.
coming up, hits
All
out on
ball.
him. Like that was a great call because in some moments, some people are gonna be
I
like,
actually want to say, I think like Darvin Ham didn't say, I don't know if he was talking about the last play of the game, but he like had like a kind of little like comment at the after the game about fouls being called or whatever. And that did it and annoyed me in the moment because that was a pure, it was a
yeah.
block. It was a block. Nobody should be saying anything about that. The Denver Nuggets won all four games. I mean, there's nothing cheap that they did about it. This honestly, I thought it was a fantastic series. It just came down when it came down to the clutch moments and the closing shots. The Nuggets made every one of them. They made every right play. And they were just absolutely impressive. I mean, even from game one, Nikola comes out and starts the series with an actually historic performance. Jamal Murray comes out with a 23 or 27, I want to say 23-point fourth quarter in game two.
Yep.
Game three comes out with a 31-point first half. In game four, the best thing that the Lakers had going for them was LeBron scoring 30 in the first half, trying to mirror Murray, and then they get blown out in the second. I mean, it is what it is. The Nuggets are the better team. I don't think anybody else should really argue anything other than that.
Are legit the real deal. All right. They are fantastic and it is scary. It's straight up scary. Now, let's
usually when they make it to the finals, they're even better than next year too. So I'm just
and we've been talking about the Nuggets. They have that playoff pedigree. They have been there before. You know what I'm saying? They've been there and lost, and now here it is. We've been talking about them. We haven't given them an ounce of thought that they would make it to this point because we're like, oh, they're gonna lose again.
I know I had a take where I was sitting there like, we're not even worried about the Nuggets in the playoffs. We're not even worried about them. They're gonna lose first or second round.
Me too. Me too. Like, all right, they'll get out first round. Okay, we'll maybe give them second round. And here they are proving all the doubters wrong. Right now, yeah, he went out and talked about.
And I'm not, I hear because I already know it's not. I only say the whole on him thing because
it's not on this game.
Yeah, no, I mean not. Yeah, no. Again, people got to show up every single game, and for the Nuggets, they did that. For the Lakers, they did.
And yes, LeBron is your best player. Yes, he has to go off. He really can't be taking games off like the Boston Celtics are. Now you see where we are at. Now, the people who say this roster is not built well, that he took this team to the Western Conference Final is bogus. Anthony Davis is a top 75 player of all time. Remember that. On the All-75 team, I actually heard that today. I'm like, that is first off blasphemous. I think Dwight Howard, who got snubbed from this team, should be on that way above Anthony Davis, but that's a whole nother debate for a whole nother day. You have those people on that team, like Austin Reeves. People think Austin Reeves is like Jeremy Lin. First off, blasphemous. I think Austin Reeves has solidified his name.
Yo, Austin Reeves
exactly.
Is real.
He's going to be a six man or a starter on majority of all the NBA teams. So I think he's going to stay and stick around. He's been putting up points. Rui Hachimura was a top 10 pick back in the day. And for him, He's shooting the lights out. He's playing well. He's a great defender. You have Vanderbilt, who's your defensively sound player, going to guard the best player on the court, right? So all these people are saying that like they have a legit roster. Yeah, they don't have the all-pro, all-star team. Like, Boston has 2 players on their team. You could say Jamal Murray and Jokic. They still have Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And you lose. And at the end of the day, yeah, they didn't shoot lights out. You didn't see a 220 pieces from Reeves and Rui Hachimura, right? Yes, LeBron had a great game. What, 20
Honestly,
points in the first half?
I'll say really what it came down to is that there's 15, 16 points per game from D'Angelo Russell in the first couple series. Then that drops to 6 points in the conference finals. Had lost his confidence, lost his shot. And it's not like I don't think that D'Angelo Russell isn't a scorer or a talent, but he
Austin
definitely
Reeves is better than D'Lo.
disappointed. Yeah.
Austin Reeves is better than D'Angelo Russell. Statistically, looking on the court, yeah, you said lack of confidence. I totally agree with that. And he just hasn't shown. He hasn't shown anything since he was a young star for LA. Yeah, he came back. It was the reunion, all back, all is good. And then we continue to see it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm taking Austin Reeves over D'Angelo Russell. And I totally forgot about the facilities.
I mean, to go with your point, you can't say that they don't have the talent. I mean, they have defenders, they have size, they can spread the floor, they have much better shooting than they did at the trade deadline. I mean, they have one of the best records, if not the best record from the All-Star break on. And part of that was without LeBron playing. People got to realize that it's not just LeBron that showed back up and all of a sudden they're carrying him. Now, LeBron had his moments throughout the playoffs, obviously, but so did AD. So did Austin Reeves. I mean, this team was definitely well balanced. You could see the difference in LeBron's play nowadays down the line. He's deferred. He's played much more off the ball. And he's never been able to do that really on other teams. Now, should he have done it as much in this conference finals? Probably not. He probably needed to take control of the reins and just be that guy in the post. And regardless, I mean, we aren't him. We don't know what he's feeling. We don't know how his body aches at 38. My body's killing me at 27. All right. I don't know what is going on out here. So I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing much more to say about the Lakers as there is about how good the Nuggets are. And I think that when everyone's talking about the media not giving the Denver Nuggets credit, it is about time we give them their due.
Give the Nuggets the flowers because they are in the finals. I mean, straight up, and they're the most scary team because we see.
But the Heat are coming.
And when they blew this 3-0 lead is what I'm saying.
Oh, my.
For the Lakers, there's been talk, is LeBron done because he doesn't know what's next? He's coming back. Relax. He wants to play with Bronny. He'll do some load management next year a little bit more than usual. He's going to go for it. Y'all, relax. It's not going to happen. Right?
Yeah, well, LeBron's just great at controlling the narrative, let's be honest. He's keeping the storyline alive, and I mean, who knows? I mean, if they run it back, I think they would still have some cap space to go get probably a better point guard or anything. I'm not saying I hear the Van Vliet conversation comes up. I think that would be incredible if they could pull that off. If they go the full crazy blow up and go get Kyrie, I mean, that's crazy.
Kyrie. No, I guarantee that it does not work.
I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like their defense has been way too important. I think they're to be healthier. They got to and be. I mean, it would help if you're not a 7 seed coming to the playoffs. You got to have it the whole season. Not once have the Lakers really had contingency or unity as a group from one season to the next. It might be good for them to try and do that for once.
It is. And now, Yank, we talked about the conference finals. We still got to wait to see what the C's and the Heat do in Game 5. But let's talk about that draft lottery, and let's just talk about Victor Wembanyama. That's every other podcast in sports, and we can talk about some of the other draft prospects coming up. Let's talk about that NBA lottery. Now, I am spurring this on to the moment, no pun intended, but let's talk about the man. I mean, everyone already knows he had his watching party. Victor Wembanyama Wemby, people are talking. Yank, is he the next dude? Is he the GOAT, the chosen one?
I mean, I'll say the same thing I said with Chet Holmgren. I will forever worry a little bit about the having a little extra on the meat on the bone when it comes to the NBA play, because when you're playing against some of these bigs, they are strong as hell. But nobody can deny 7'4" with a shot and moves similar comparison. I mean, people are talking about Kevin Durant like that's unheard of. There's some of the most respected names in the analyst community saying that this is the greatest prospect in NBA history, let alone possibly all of team sports. At some point, you kind of feed into the hype a little bit. So, yeah, I think this guy is going to be that good. When you got other all-star NBA players saying, like, you got to watch out for this kid before he has even gotten here. I mean, at some point, you got to put respect on the kid's name. I think he is going to be that good. Now, in the NBA, you can't win by yourself anymore. I think that's been proven. So the Spurs will still have some work to do, but they're an interesting place to be now that he's there.
Yes, it's going to be a place where people want to go. They have Greg, which I don't know how many years he does have, and it is going to be.
You got one more in him, at least.
Yank, the thing is, we've been hearing a lot about all these prospects. Chet, he's a power forward center. He's not too beefy. KD consider him a small forward, so that's why he's not getting too many injuries. I know he's had a couple injuries, but he's not in there in the post getting bodied by the bigger dudes in the league. That's what Victor has to do. He has to play a small forward or even a shooting guard. Yes, I know, a 7'4" shooting guard. Okay, don't get caught in the paint. Go guard their number 2. He's quick enough. He's lengthy enough. He could get beat, still jump from the free throw line and block the dude, right? He's an absolute just creature that you would make in 2K. And it's awesome to watch. Like I'm gonna hype
he
on.
He literally looks like your Brad Pace build.
That's what I'm saying. Even though, but it might be bigger. But the thing is, he can shoot, he can dribble. All those things is what make him electric. But when is the last time, Yank, one of these future stars was gonna come into the league and really, really make some noise? Zion, been hurt all this time. I don't want to hear any Zion talk. I knew that really wouldn't work for some reason. There's a spot in my mind. LaMelo,
Ja had good buzz.
Ja had a good buzz.
Trae Young had some good buzz.
But what has he done? He hasn't done much. What, second round?
I mean, he's an all-star.
He's an all-star, but like a player to really take them. We haven't seen that yet. I mean, could you say Jason Tatum? No, I don't think he went third overall. Anyway.
If he wins a title, I would say though.
Who? JT? Oh, okay. So yeah, but then you're going back. I think that was like 2017. So that was the same.
But still, think about it. He's gone to what, 5 Eastern Conference Finals already?
Okay, so we'll go back to them, right? But in the latest draft, like Paolo Banchero, whatever, for Orlando, not really heard much about.
Oh, but that's just a product of the team because he had a fantastic season.
I mean, that's my thing. And then you have LaMelo, LaMelo's my dude. And we're going to talk about the Hornets and where they're at and who I think they should draft, right? Because they're not going to get Wemby. But I think it's time. It is due for the NBA for this top prospect that's going to shock the league. It's finally going to happen. I think we're due is what I'm saying. But the reason I brought that up is because I think we're due. And I think Wemby's going to be legit. He's going to be fun to watch. I go get a jersey just because I might have to.
In a way, don't you kind of get the feeling right? You think about with MJ, right? MJ retires as Kobe and LeBron come into the league, basically. You get them. Now you got LeBron retiring as Wemby's coming into the league. I mean, it does kind of give you a feeling like it's somebody else's turn. I don't know.
Okay, so obviously we know that's where we're going to go. We talk a little bit about a Wemby talk. So now I was really hoping that the Hornets would get it because I am a big Baller Bram fan. You know that. Lonzo may never play again. He has all these knee injuries. It's absolutely bonkers. Jello's played a few G League games, so it's all really up to LaMelo, and he fractured his ankle. So Big Baller Brand is down bad. So let's see what the Hornets can do because that's the only reason why I kind of like the Hornets. Can you hear me?
I lost you for a second. Yep, I'm back.
Brandon Miller, like I was saying, sorry, technical difficulties, y'all. From Alabama, that's still a solid pick, but I don't like it. I really like Scoot Henderson. He's been playing.
Thank you. That is the next best name on that list.
I mean, you're looking at a a complete dude that looks like he can go body
He's
people. Like,
ready.
he is NBA ready. He is physically ready for the league. Now, he's not a great 3-point shooter, which do you really need that as the Hornets? Right, you go get him. He's going to be a great defender. He's going to be a great athlete. I know it'll
He'll
never happen.
develop his 3-point shot a little bit better, but he is a talent.
He is, and I really think he is the next big name on it, just from his physical build alone and the overall athlete. Like, if he goes, he's not going to make too much noise at Charlotte, right? You got to be a scorer, but like if he gets to a team where they already have 2 scorers, like, and he's the third guy, that's going to be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Is that going to happen with the Hornets, the Trailblazers,
What
the
a
Pistons,
name. Can we
Rockets?
just
No.
appreciate a great name every now and then? Like
Scoot.
Scoot? Scoot?
You should get Scooters, the coffee shop. Do you have Scooters down there?
Yes.
Okay, you do. I didn't know if that was
Yes. Let's
statewide.
go.
You should get a NIL deal. But that is just like the
On a
big
razor, everything.
that's the big name I think that people should look. That's what I think the Hornets should get. Brandon Miller won't be too bad. I mean, he is a scorer with
Brandon Miller, you'd be dumb to think isn't a fantastic talent just based off of what he did in 1 year, under all the stress, under all the controversy and scrutiny at Alabama. I mean, yeah, they faltered in the tournament, but I mean, the kid did wonderful things.
and then just other things about the draft. You have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, if you have like the biggest franchise tag on anyone, like this is the team, because I think they still have 5 first-round draft picks until like 2020, like 5 or 2026. So like the next 3 drafts, they have 5 first-round draft picks, and like go trade to get someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, or shoot, trade up to go get Scoot. Then you have Chet Holmgren, Shy, Alexander. You go get Scoot or Brandon Miller. Like, you trade both those first round tracks. Woo, hold up. Call me a GM, but that would look nice.
And they already got Giddy too. Like they're
Josh
playing.
Giddey, but
Yeah,
you know what I just said? Like, he would be a great number 3. Oklahoma City Thunder have all the real estate in the world in the NBA drafts coming up. So that's a team to look at.
absolutely. That I mean, some of the best management moves I've ever seen, honestly, in the NBA, have come from the Thunder over the past few years.
100, yes, and they always do draft well. If they can all stay together, I think that'll be awesome. Other big names you want to shout out? I've seen some mock drafts where Jet Howard, Juan Howard's son from Michigan, he might go to the Heat. I'm like, oh, there you go.
I mean, that'd be like father, like son. That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of cool, and he might get some minutes there. I mean, he'll be part of the Miami culture. Like, I know he'll definitely get minutes on that team. And then Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's twin brother, he's entered the draft. I've seen him potentially going like 15th to 16th, maybe even up to the Trailblazers pick. So like that'll be a nice addition. I know those are some of the big names. I'm kind of excited because the more March Madness I watch, the more players I know, the more excited I am to see them in an NBA uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I mean, you're seeing some of these other college athletes stick around a little bit more than 1 year too, which has been really, really cool. Especially if they don't necessarily win in a tournament, they come back. It's like their revenge year. I love the storylines. So yeah, it's been really cool seeing all of them. But no, the top 5 is really, really interesting to me. After that, it drops off a little bit. But I mean, obviously, there's always a diamond in the rough somewhere. So we'll see what big team lands one.
It's funny because we see a lot of these teams. I mean, it's your same teams. It's, not so much the Trailblazers, but it's like the Pistons, it's the Magic, it's the Thunder, always getting those top 10 draft picks. And will it actually prevail? I mean, it's about to be due here for the Pistons. So they got Cade Cunningham. What's he been up to lately? I haven't heard much from him. You know what I'm saying?
He's been great when he plays, but again, injuries. And
I know.
the big problem that we've seen in recent years is that all these big names come out and they're great when they play, but half of them miss a quarter, half a season. And you just aren't going to be
That's why you have load
successful.
management, which sucks, but you obviously want them to play during the playoffs. LeBron, I think, sat out for 3 seconds at the end of the half just to get some
Yeah,
rest,
right. Yeah.
or the other day. So, I mean, I get it, and I get it is a taxing game. I understand that it is very, very difficult, but the science we have and the way you can like nutrition yourself and to actually push your body to the limits is crazy out there. But at the same time, Yank, it's millions of dollars, right? If you blow your knee.
Man, I can tell you, I was doing it for free. I would do it for millions.
I'd pay to do it. Shoot,
I would
that's
shoot.
why we play golf. Pay to play. Now we don't get paid. But back to it. The lottery will be fun. I mean, the NBA draft, we'll have a bigger NBA draft breakdown, mock draft of what we think is going to happen and all go down. And then we'll be talking about a whole much more. But anything else about the conference finals or the NBA lottery?
No, honestly, I mean, I will give you this. I do wish that we had just closed it out because any type of life, it makes you a little nervous. But
One.
coming back from 03, come on.
First time in NBA history. You don't want to see me on the podcast.
I swear, if we come back to this podcast a week from now and we are still talking about this series,
yeah, you better watch out. Well, first off, Mr. Zizzy, I think we have to finally declare that both had immaculate vibes about him. Are we a Scoot Henderson podcast?
oh, I'm all about Scoot. I'm all about Scoot.
Just dropped. I think we are now maybe the second biggest.
Scoot the dude. Let's go.
Hey, Scoot go shoot. Put it on a t-shirt. Scoot Henderson, wherever he goes, the podcast will support Scoot Henderson. I wish we would have had that for Chet, but this year I get to see next year I get to see what Chet gets to do. So that'll be our player that we follow this next year. Wow, boom, news dropped.
Oh, I'm ecstatic right now because now all of a sudden you're over here like Scoot the shoot, like Chet's the bet. Oh man, let's go, man. Let's go.
No, absolutely great. So now, besides our teams and me repping the Big Baller brand, wherever Scoot goes, we go. End all be all. It's been a great time. I don't wish you the best because I want the C's to go win in 7. Yank. Just I'm gonna sit down quietly because I got that faith. Just survive in advance, baby.
The East runs through Miami. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. If you're talking sports, this is the matchup. Mickey here with Zizzy. Are we cutting it up? Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is. The Mickey Zizzy podcast. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.
Peace.